Getting into media criticism and analysis opened me up to a world of many new Phantom versions that I hadn't even heard of. Hell, if you try to search on Amazon right now for The Phantom of the Opera, you're likely to run into one of these alternative versions that's not the book or the Andrew Lloyd Webber show. And one such version that I didn't grow up with, but have grown to love, is the Charles Dance made-for-TV Phantom of the Opera. It takes the melodrama and the heart of the Andrew Lloyd Webber show and turns it up to 100. Though that isn't to say that this version was based off the Andrew Lloyd Webber show. Fun fact, the story was written for a Phantom musical that was written about the same time as the ALW show, but unfortunately did not premiere before that version, and so the backers for this musical decided to back out, and thus they turned the script into this made-for-TV movie. It's certainly one of the better versions of Phantom, and I'd highly recommend it for anyone looking to explore the Phantom of the Opera canon. One of the early criticisms of this version that I heard is that the Charles Dance Phantom is a wimp. He's cuddly, overly romantic, and overall not threatening or imposing. And needless to say, I completely disagree. One of the main points brought up is that Eric has his father in his life, so how can he be lonely? And to that I say, tell that to Cosette or Quasimodo. Depending on how you stretch the term, they both had fatherly figures in their lives, but still found themselves lonely, because a father or mentor can't act as a lover or even a companion. I think the line that best sums this up is in Degrassi Next Generation Season 1 Episode 2, where Emma says that she can't tell her mom everything because she's her mom. When you act as an authority in someone's life, in a way you're closing yourself off to being available. It's a lot harder for someone to be vulnerable in front of you when they know they need to act a certain way with you. And even though it's revealed that Eric knows that Gerard Carrier is his dad, he probably sees him as more of a mentor or a benefactor. Just a sort of in-between of the world Eric lives in and the rest of the opera house in Paris. Not exactly someone he can play catch with, or other bonding activities. Another part of this criticism is that, as the Phantom states,
I'm just not used to killing people, it's thrown me off a bit.
Which, a whole part of his phantomy goodness is that he's not afraid to do immoral things like that. Part of this, I think, is a bad line read. The Charles Dance Phantom is trying to at least put on a face of sophistication. He's got a nose for high art and will snub anything that's less than. And so with this persona put on, it doesn't come off the way it does in the stage version with Richard White, where he's upset that he had to kill someone to protect his livelihood, but more like a sort of joke, only not quite as powerful because, again, he's acting sophisticated, and so his nature is rather subdued with that line. But either way, this doesn't mean that the Phantom doesn't want to kill or would opt to not do so. We get the sense that he just hasn't needed to kill so far. He's had Gerard to help scare the opera company to staying away from the cellars. But we know that Eric still has considered having to kill as a possibility when we see his reserves of gunpowder, when he's decided it's going to be war upon the people above. Plus, we know he, at least in some way, had a hand in killing those policemen that went down to chase him. And the Charles Dance Eric can be rather frightening and threatening once you get him going. To express his angst and inner turmoil of Christine seeing his face and rejecting him, he immediately turns on her. He's no longer charming or soothing to Christine. There is so much anger in his voice when he tells her that she can't leave because she'd seen his face, and how he destroyed his underground dream world. Things that he's built up for years, he's letting unravel in a matter of minutes. If I was in that underground layer as he was doing all this, I'd be frightened and want to leave as well. And the last thing that I saw used to criticize the Phantom as being unimposing is the fact that he proposes to go on a picnic with Christine. Of course, it's in the sewers, but a picnic nonetheless. And I don't really get why this is seen as a reason why the Phantom is so cuddly. For one, I'll point to the book and the fact that Eric in that novel literally wanted a wife and to walk with her on Sundays. Not quite the Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett relationship. And then secondly, who doesn't want the spoils of romance and things non-deformed people get to do? This is a guy who has been denied all the freedoms that we know and that we could choose not to have. But for him, it's not a choice. If he dares try to step foot out of the opera house or even try to meet new people, it's not going to end well. Folks don't take kindly to people who hide their faces, and Eric knows he's going to get nothing but bad reactions if he dares show his face. Him having to remain hidden all of his life has denied him the the basic things that we take for granted, even simple things like going on a picnic. Again, I can kind of see where one might lodge the criticism that the Charles Dance Phantom isn't all that scary, but I think that's a really unfounded criticism. I'd say he's up there with the Andrew Lloyd Webber Phantom in the final layer scene for how scary and imposing he is. Both versions, you don't want to be around him when he's mad. How much Phantomier can you get? Thank you very much for consuming this video, and until next time.